following program is a rebroadcast of News Channel 5 Tonight. News Channel 5, your exclusive 24-hour news channel, with Felicia Ferguson, Curtis Fuller, Chris Wright's weather, and George Vogel with sports. Now, Cincinnati's News Channel 5 Tonight.
Good evening. The entire tri-state area is under a winter storm warning all night through tomorrow. This warning means we can expect a mixture of snow with freezing rain and sleet. We could also wind up with as much as 2 to 4 inches of accumulation by morning. The roads are already getting pretty slick, so if you have to go out, try to give yourself a little extra time.
Slow down and, I don't know, just keep a safe distance and whatever. You know, just use driver's sense, that's all.
Right now, about 18 overnight crews of salt trucks are already out on the streets trying to get things under control before it becomes too big a mess. But the worst could come during the morning rush hour drive to work tomorrow. Chris Wright joins us now from the Weather Center with more on what this winter warning means. Chris?
Well, Curtis, we've been watching it all day long. Right now, we're getting a mixture of rain and light snow here in the tri-state. The temperature 33 degrees and slowly starting to fall. Take a look at live action radar and I'll show you what's going on. Most of the activity you're looking at now is moving northeastward about 15 miles per hour, but there is more on the way that's moving northeastward at about 45 miles per hour. Here's what I expect overnight tonight. Basically, rainfall down in the southeast. Here in the tri-state, we'll get a mixture of rain, sleet, and snow. I think we're going to accumulate more so right around 2 inches here in the tri-state with some non-accumulating snow over northern Ohio and northern Indiana. If that's not bad enough, we also have a flood watch in effect for the tri-state. We got about an inch of rainfall so far this weekend. Once we get the snow and it melts and runs off into the area rivers and streams, that's going to bring the flood problems back to the tri-state all over again. A very active night of weather. I've got a couple more things I'm going to check down here. I'll be upstairs in just a bit. Curtis?
All righty. Thanks a lot, Chris. And now, so far, we have not received any word on any school closings, but if the weather does cause any, we'll have the list tomorrow morning on News Channel 5 Today, which is at 6:30.
This just in, police in Springfield Township are investigating a terrible accident involving a police cruiser. It happened just a little while ago on North Bend Road. As you can see, police had to cut the roof off of this cruiser to get to the people trapped inside. Police are not able to tell us anything about what caused the wreck, and there is no word yet on the conditions of the people in either car. As soon as they release more information on what happened, we'll pass it on to you.
Well, this week could make the difference between war and peace in the Gulf. And politically, it could be the most crucial week in the presidency of George Bush. Tonight, the president met with his top advisors at the White House to map out a last-ditch strategy for peace. Elsewhere, Saddam Hussein is sounding like he's preparing his country for war. He told his people to get ready for a long battle and that sacrifices must be made. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Jim Baker is preparing for a final diplomatic effort. He's headed for Geneva with a meeting with Iraqi Foreign Minister Tariq Aziz.
The United States has made several proposals for face-to-face discussions. These have been rejected over a period of 3 weeks by the Iraqi leadership, and we think that the message must be brought home loud and clear to the government of Iraq that this is a last chance.
Now, Congress is set to begin debate Thursday on a resolution regarding the use of force. That's 1 day after Baker's meeting and just 5 days before the UN's January 15th deadline.
The federal government tonight is paying big bucks to take over a string of financial institutions owned by the Bank of New England. The banks, which run through 3 states, are on very shaky economic ground. The head of the FDIC says they are propping the banks up with $750 million in government money. He says he thinks the final cost of the bailout could be more than $2.3 billion, making it one of the biggest federal takeovers ever.
Back in our area, police tonight are tracking down a grisly discovery in Brown County. Dozens of animal carcasses were found on a creek bank near Georgetown, Ohio. News Channel 5's Lisa Cooney was with police as they took their first look at the dead animals. What you're about to see is graphic and shocking.
At first glance, this was the only pile of skinned carcasses and a dead calf we saw. But after a short walk beyond here, the true size of this animal dumping ground became apparent. They looked like dogs, more than 50 of them, scattered along a 100-yard stretch of the White Oak Creek here in Brown County. Tim Holcomb and his family stumbled upon this gruesome sight. We called police. Even they were shocked.
I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. I've been with the Sheriff's Department over 6 years, and I've never seen anything like this before, you know. So many carcasses laying around.
After seeing the number of carcasses here, police called in some experts. They later determined the skinned animals were foxes.
Right now we think that it's probably somebody who is in the fur business. They came from somebody who's in a fur business. Possibly they hired somebody to dump them out here, we don't know. Or hired somebody to haul them away. That's a violation of the stream litter ordinance or law, and that's a third-degree misdemeanor. Carries a $500 fine and 60 days in jail, maximum sentence.
It was clear that there were probably more animals here to begin with. You could see the creek was on the rise. Police say the others were washed away and probably carried to the Ohio River.
The next step is to find out who put them here and see if we can't make an arrest and get the mess cleaned up.
It's not a pretty sight, and police say, unfortunately, it's happened before. But they've never seen so many dead animals dumped in one place like this, and that makes them want to find who's responsible.
You live in the country and people tend to think of the rivers and streams as their garbage disposal. As long as they put it in the high water and it washes away, they feel that it's done and gone forever.
Lisa Cooney, News Channel 5 Tonight.
Now, the Brown County Sheriff's Department is asking for your help in their investigation. If you have any information regarding the animal carcasses, call the Brown County Sheriff's Department at 378-4155. Again, that number is 378-4155.
A big meeting is set tomorrow to get more facts on the shooting of an unarmed Corryville man by Cincinnati police. 34-year-old Walter Brown was shot and killed by a police officer December 28th, who says he acted in self-defense when Brown tried to attack him. Some citizens say the officer used excessive deadly force.
I think a shooting of this type, it tends to open up old wounds in the African-American community. I think it's important to have immediate dialogue between the leadership of that community and the city administration. Hopefully, as a result of this meeting, we can begin to build some trust and patience while we wait for the various investigations to be concluded.
Tillery, the chief of police, city manager, and the director of the Human Relations Commission will meet with about a dozen concerned citizens down at City Hall tomorrow.
Well, in just a few hours, Pete Rose will be back in Cincinnati. The former Cincinnati Reds superstar and manager will be released from the federal prison in Marion, Illinois, after serving a 5-month sentence. He was found guilty of tax evasion, but he still faces the second half of his sentence. He'll spend 3 months in the Talbert halfway house and then perform 1,000 hours of community service in 5 Cincinnati public schools.
Still ahead on News Channel 5 tonight, a fire from a kerosene heater kills 4 small children.
And 4 Kentucky teenagers are in the hospital following a car explosion. Police say they were sniffing butane. Those stories coming up.